Hi guys, how you doing? How was your week? A little warm, right? I know, a little warm. It was warm here too. What did you do this week? Did you just hang out at home and go on your computers, or did you go to the park and play basketball with friends? Did you go to church and see your church friends, or did you go to camp and see your camp friends and your school friends at school? So what do you do in the summer when you don't have to go to school? Who do you hang with? So I had a friend who came today because my birthday's coming up, and she's my friend that I talk to every day. And she came here to church and she gave me a present, which is kind of sweet because I'm not always good at that, but she did a real good job. I love her. And so then Kenny and I were talking about that, about friendship and what friendship means, right? So I thought, let me look it up in the Bible. And I did. And I know the ultimate friendship that we see in the Bible is with Jesus, isn't it? Jesus, we like to think, and he is. He's God, right? But we kind of like to think he's alone. And I don't know, maybe the Father is kind of on his own. Jesus was not alone. He didn't do any of this alone. And we know this because he had a family, a mom and brothers, and a dad here, besides his dad up in heaven. But he also had friends, and he found them. And they were fishermen. That's what they did. They caught fish for people so that they could, and they caught them for themselves. And so he went out and he found his friends. Here they are. It's in Luke 6. My hair looks really silly. Luke 6, 13 through 16. And it says, the next morning, Jesus called his followers. We call them disciples. He chose 12 of them and he renamed them. He called them apostles. And Pastor John told me a long time ago that the disciples were the ones who learned. When they were disciples, they learned. When he called them apostles, he gave them a different job. And the job was to go out and tell people to teach. So first they were students and then they were teachers. Students are disciples, teachers are apostles. So he named them the apostles. And these are the names. Simon, whom Jesus renamed Peter, and Andrew, that was Peter's brother, James and John, who are brothers, Philip and Bartholomew, who I think are brothers, Matthew, Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, and Judas, the son of James, and Judas Iscariot. 12 friends. Judas Iscariot was the one that we kind of think, sometimes we think there's something that he was not a good guy. I honestly don't know that I think that. So here's the thing. Jesus gave them a job to do. Some of them might have been a little bit different from other jobs, but he gave them a job to do. Now, why? Well, besides the fact that he knew he wasn't going to be there anymore, he trusted them. They were his friends. He was with them all the time. So why do we need friends? Because some people have a hard time with friends. But Jesus needed friends because that's who he was. He was social. He had to talk to people. He had to bring them. So in this list, we have people that doubted him when he came back from the dead. We have Thomas. We have people that told people they didn't know him 3 times. Peter. They had somebody who did the ultimate going against him, right? By telling the soldiers where he was so they could come and ultimately kill him. These were his friends. And you might want to think, why do I have friends like that? Because they have a job to do. Judas had a job to do. And honestly, God bless him, because that was the hardest job ever to do that. I don't know if he found it hard, but I can't imagine that he didn't. They were close, but he had a job to do. Peter had a job to do. Thomas had a job to do. And the jobs were not necessarily being perfect. They were just When Thomas doubted that Jesus was Jesus, did he not put all of that into his own words? Did he not make it okay for us to maybe not always have the faith? When Peter told people that he didn't know him, did he make it possible for us to make mistakes and not always be there for each other, but still be forgiven? We have friends, and we're not always good to our friends. But boy, do we need them. And sometimes our friends are people that we live with, people that we were born to or married to. And sometimes they're just somebody that we started becoming friends with recently. Colleen found friends that became her family. Kevin did too. Friends are not perfect. We are not perfect. This is what friends are. Loving even though you're not perfect. Being there for you even though you're not perfect. And we love them even though they're not perfect. We need them. We need them to talk to. We need them to listen. We need them so that we can take care of them. We need them to go to the grocery store with, or go to the movies, or have dinner with. Jesus needed them. I don't know if this makes sense. I know I say that because I don't have it in my head. But how important is that? How important is it that my friend came right here, just today, just to bring me something? Not something huge, just something to say I love you. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's what friends do. Jesus said, love God, love other people. But Jesus also did love his friends. He loved God and he loved other people by helping them, but he also loved his friends. And his friends loved him enough to take on the role of being the bad guy, to take on the role of leading him to his death, because that's what had to happen. That's what God needed to happen. And he also needed these friends to take on other roles, and they did what they were supposed to do. So, when you have a friend, and you probably have more than one in different places, just keep that in mind. They're not perfect. You're not perfect. I am so far from perfect. But how blessed are we to have friends that forgive us anyway? I have more than that friend. I have friends at home who live in my neighborhood. I have friends at church. I have friends that I've known from when the kids were in school. I have friends from when I was a kid. I have friends that I met through Kenny. I am blessed. My friend came today. I'm going out with friends tonight. I go home and I can talk to my friend at home. It's important. So love your friends. Take care of them and forgive them. And know that it's important. It's so important. It's right there in the Bible. Who would have thought? Have a good week. And say hi to your friends for me. And I'll see you next week. I love you. I miss you a lot. But we'll be together soon. Have a good week.